If you are looking for something new and different for the upcoming Compliance Week celebration in November, check out The Compliance Kids. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. The Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. Join us as we explore the latest trends from the Department of Justice, share some best practices, demystify complex compliance issues to help keep your organization doing business ethically and in compliance, and at the end of the day, more profitably. Tune in daily for your dose of compliance wisdom. Let's make compliance a little less daunting, one tip at a time. Now a word from the sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
This week on the Compliance Tip of the Day, we're looking at things around whistleblowers, speak up, and listen up cultures in companies. Today, we're going to consider it from the legal and regulatory perspective. We are drawing on our information from this, from the talk by Deputy Attorney General Nicole Argentaria recently, and of course the release of the 2024 Evaluation of Corporate Compliance Programs. But how do you answer the question of what is your speak up culture and why should you have one? Well, if you're a U.S. public company, you've had to have one since Sarbanes-Oxley. The Dodd-Frank whistleblower program emphasize this even more by financially incentivizing people to blow the whistle to the SEC, particularly when they have tried to do so internally and have not had success in doing so. And now with the DOJ pilot program, they are taking the same tact and putting a financial incentive program around this. And in the first month, they had over 100 tips come into it. So what are some of the things you should do? Well, first and foremost, your company must have an anonymous reporting mechanism commonly known as a hotline. If you happen to be a private company and you don't have one, it is certainly time to address this gap, and I would say so immediately. So set up a hotline, implement a reliable, user-friendly anonymous reporting mechanism. This can be a dedicated phone line, an online portal, or both. The key is to ensure that employees and third parties can report misconduct without fear of exposure. 2, publicize the mechanism effectively. Make sure everyone knows about it. And 3, of course, test it and make sure that employees know how to use it, and more importantly, they're comfortable in using. This can be done through anonymous questionnaires or during training sessions. But you have to have one, you have to train on it, and employees have to know how to use it going forward. As I said in the opening of this podcast, this month's sponsor of the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico, and they've developed a toolkit for middle managers that will help middle managers in intaking information from employees and, equally importantly, understanding how to respond and how to get the information up to compliance for the decision makers. We've linked to this toolkit in our show notes, so check it out at ethico.com. This is Tom Fox again. This new podcast, Compliance Tip of the Day, will appear daily. And frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The Compliance Tip of the Day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network. Finally, this podcast contains promotional materials.